Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from God FM, and I want to talk to you about betrayal, actually, and fake targeted individuals. What you've got to realize is that this is the end of the world. This is the revelation. This is the final days. This is a separation between the wheat and the chaff, the truth and the lies, and the life and the death, and the light and the darkness. And in this process, a flower may not actually be a flower, but it might be a weed instead. Don't know if you know, but weeds sometimes have a little flower, and they can be quite pretty, but they're still a weed. And there's nothing you can do to that weed to make it into a flower. Even though it might look like a flower, it is not a flower. Alrighty then. So what I've come across is there's many people masquerading as targeted individuals. And for some reason as well, they want to join my groups. And then once they've joined my groups, what they like to do is they like to have conversations and start new groups with contacts that I have made with targeted individuals. Now, I put a lot of time into God FM. I'm self-funded. I'm a targeted individual, and I really am struggling to reach my brothers and sisters. And also, it takes a lot of time to do all of the live shows that I've been doing. It takes a huge amount of effort to do all of the things that I've been doing, covering the amount of coverage I have covered about targeted individuals and all of the struggles that we are all facing as targeted individuals. The daily life of a targeted individual is harassment, stalking, hacking, and it is full time, absolutely full time. And when I do live shows, this is to offer credibility to all the targeted individuals and to see if I can help them, but also because we've got to stop this, we need to actually get a group of us together and come up with a united front to stop it. Okay. What's this war about, by the way? Well, this war is about God and the devil. And it's about the devil's children and God's children, right? So, the devil masquerades as an angel of light. And so do his children, right? Mm-hmm. So, what I've come to know is that there's many people masquerading as saviors, like Gary Waterman and various other people. And they're not saviors. They're actually here to enslave you even more. Okay. I've already covered all this. And what I've actually found now as well is there's lots of fake churches. And these guys have infiltrated all the churches, all the governments, all the media, everything. But also they infiltrate any targeted individual group. And they masquerade as people who are targeted, who can help you. And they seem to have divine understanding and knowledge and information about the network of gang stalkers, how it operates, the aerials, all of the other bits and pieces. And from, my understanding, when somebody is a targeted individual, they're just too busy to be trying to round up people to go against someone like me. I'm a targeted individual and I'm a preacher of God. And I've worked tirelessly doing live shows, trying to find out if I can help others. I've shared my testimonies of what I can do and how to stop the effects of all of the things that happen. And I do believe we have to work together. But it has come to my attention that various people that I had befriended weren't actually for me, they were actually against me. And they're trying to organize groups, and they're asking people for information like their fingerprints, passports, photographs, personal data, which will all form part of the biometric ID. And they seem to be all organizing meetings with people like Mark Steele and whatever, but excluding me from any of these meetings and actively trying to isolate me, but also exclude me from any help. But also they are spreading rumors and lies about me, actively discussing me in a negative fashion. And I want to warn you, if you come against me, I put a curse on you, right? Any child of yours, any family member with a child under 20, they will slip and fall and break their neck. I'm going to extend it to 30-year-olds now. If you've got a child or a relative and you come against me or my nation of God, masquerading as a targeted individual, trying to get people to come up against me, trying to turn all my brothers and sisters against me, then I put this curse on you, right? If you have a child in your family under 30 years old, any family member in your family who has a child under 30 years old, may that child slip and fall and break its fucking neck for trying to deceive me and my brothers and sisters. I have put an incredible amount of effort into trying to locate and find other targeted individuals like me, because it's damn lonely and it's really hard. But it's a very wide scale event that is happening, and I've had many dreams about my nation, the nation of the Bible, my brothers and sisters, and our freedom that we will claim. And there's so many people who want to masquerade as a savior, but you're not saviors. Yeah, you'll pretend, right? You pretend you're targeted individuals, but you're not really. You know, there's no way you're targeted individuals. I'll tell you something. I'm a child of God. And this is about religion, yeah? It is actually. I'm not a Muslim. And I'm not a Buddhist. And I'm none of these other religions. I'm a Christian. A real Christian. And I can actually pronounce the name Christian and say it with all my heart. And all I am. That I am a real Christian from the Bible. And I'm a child of God. And I'm a watchman. And I represent the children of God on this earth. And I'm looking for my brothers and sisters. And if anybody gets in my way, I'll chop you out real fast. Okay. Now, there's some people that are going around spreading rumors about me and contacting people about me. And they've organized telephone calls and conversations and groups. And they've been asking for ID from people and all sorts of things, saying that they can help them, but they can't. And I want to tell you what happened and the story of it and how it came to be. That I know this as well. So the targeted individual community is quite hard to find everyone, because we're shadow banned everywhere. And my background is media and law, and it's very hard to reach anyone. But nevertheless, I came across Gary Waterman, and I helped this Gary Waterman and thought, oh wow, this is a lovely guy. He's going to help us all. This guy, anyone who can help, he makes up that they are not going to help and that they are part of government fraud. He's done this with myself and someone else I know, and made out that we are snipers or that we are not trustworthy or whatever. And if you're a targeted individual, it's actually really hard because no one will help you. Can't get any help from the police, and these people can convince all your neighbors to participate in this, because these gang stalkers are child eaters and blood drinkers. Make no mistake. And they'll go to whatever extremes are necessary to ensure that their blood drinking lusts are met. And this includes masquerading as saviors. So there was a guy called Dan Dyer who used to work with Gary Waterman, and there were lots of other people who were working with Gary Waterman, all of them criminals, and I exposed them all after Gary Waterman tried to make out that I was part of the government fraud. And Dan Dyer and I had spoken a few times when I first came to know Gary Waterman, and I joined a group of his, and he had spoken to me on the phone, and he told me that his girlfriend's child had been taken off her. All the children he ever had been taken off him, and he was friends with Gary Waterman, and he knew law, and he wanted me to help him with my estate agent. He could buy houses with the promissory notes and all this, and I said no, because nobody wants to sell their house for a piece of paper, an IOU promissory note, right? So I was like, no. But also, he couldn't afford to fix his phone or buy a phone. Quite hard up with money. And anyway, he and Gary fell out and had made a remark that he was going to have Gary's house and everything that Gary owned. And I took offense to that because I was friends with Gary, and if I'm friends with you, I'll stand up for you with my life, yeah? That's the way I am. So I said, well, actually, I don't like that you behave like this. And so, you just because you've got his name, date of birth, and his address, you're going to claim his house off him, yeah? Because he knows all about sovereignty, yeah? And all that nonsense. And I said, well, I'm not happy. And he said, well, if you're not happy, you can fuck off. And I went, okay then, I will. And I left his group, and that was that. But this Dan Dyer has been contacting lots of people. He's not friends with Gary, so he tells everyone, but secretly he's really good friends with Gary Waterman still, right? And then there's another person that also was accused of being a sniper by Gary Waterman, a government agent. And Dan Dyer is still in touch with her now. And he said, oh, don't worry, I know you're not a sniper. It's just a little internal joke. So he knows that she's not a sniper. But he's actively going around telling everyone, you've got to be careful of Ayesha from God FM because, she's a government agent or whatever. And then he contacts my group members and he warns them. And then they become little spies, right, and informants, and they send him copies of everything I'm doing, what I'm saying, whatever. And now he's decided to create some group and also befriend lots of other people that I've got on my group. And today I had to cut out a lot of people out of my group because they've been organizing meetings, asking for fingerprints, passport photos, identity, date of birth, addresses of vulnerable people. And I've got a duty of care to protect my group members and myself. And it felt very much like they were holding all these meetings, like they've been holding these meetings with CCAN was the one, yeah. CCAN, Mark Steele. There was quite a few people that attended this meeting. I'm holding live shows every day, right? And I'm trying to make a change, and I'm trying to make a difference. But of course, these people want to exclude me from actually doing anything. They are part of the organization that eats children and drinks children's blood. They masquerade as saviors and as targeted individuals. And then they isolate all the targeted individuals, and they are getting the information. So they join my WhatsApp groups and things, and then they send images and links that have got embedded code in so they can hack and stalk and terrorize my friends and my brothers and sisters. And this, it's been going on for a little while now. So it got to the point where I just don't open images, links, or anything, because I've just been very suspicious of anything like this. But I'm very disappointed. So Mr. Dan Dyer has told everyone that he can be a warrant officer or something, and he's going to work for the government. He's offered everyone money and jobs and whatever to join him with his takedown of this criminal, corrupt gang stalking operation. But it was actually Mr. Gary Waterman who told me that Dan Dyer was a blood-drinking trader of blood. And also Dan Dyer's girlfriend is a trafficked woman, an ex-victim of prostitution and trafficking and drug cartels. A real nasty bunch of people. I'm not frightened of you, by the way, okay? Why? Because I've got God. But if you've lost all your children, every single damn child of yours has ended up in care. I wonder if it's ended up in the food chain. And whether you've arranged for it, eh? Sorry. But if you don't even know me, Mr. Dan Dyer, and you go around spreading lies about me, making out people cannot trust me, then I've got to ask, what are your motives for arranging telephone calls and conversations with my group members that I have painstakingly advertised everywhere, done videos, live shows, to try and locate my brothers and sisters, only for you to come along and come and spread lies about me? It's now time for me to tell my side of the story, right? You shitbag. Who the fuck are you anyway? Criminal. Scumbucket is what you are. Damn dangerous. And I curse you with all the power vested in me, that your life will become a living nightmare. Everything that you people have arranged for me will happen to you. Every pit that you dig for me, you will fall in it. How dare you do this to people? Honestly, it's for you. Now, I don't know Dan Dyer, okay? I only spoke to him a few times on the phone. But I know of him. I know the stories that he's telling everyone. And I know that he's a muck spreader and a troublemaker and one not to be trusted. He seems to know a bit about sovereignty and sovereignty law, and is intermingled with a lot of men. You know, these men that want to be Christian men and save humanity. He's part of those. Now, a lot of these guys, they can't save anyone because they don't really know God, and they haven't really read the Bible, and they don't know anything about God's laws. And they don't realize that God's laws supersede all the other laws. even sovereign law, even Magna Carta law. And that a practitioner of the Leviticus law like me has the right to execute the laws of God on this earth. And I do. So, from my point of view, if you want to go around spreading muck about me, yeah, pretending that you found the network and that you're a targeted individual, you've got aerials and things and all things around your house, have you, eh? Have you, eh? Maybe that's because you're a damn gang stalker. Maybe that's because you're a kingpin of this organization. A scum bucket. And anyone you work with, anyone you associate with, or put them in the same group. And when I cut people out, I cut out anyone they're associated with as well. And why? Because I don't want to have any association with any of these people masquerading as saviors when they're not saviors and they're not here to help anyone. All right. This is a war for your mind, your body, and your soul. Take heed. Take heed. The Lord is the only way. Jesus Christ. There is only one name that you will be saved. And there's no shortcut. And no one can rob me of God's plan for my life or anyone else's plan for their life that God has for them. So I'm warning you all, you be careful who you trust, right? Because there's a lot of liars and people masquerading as targeted individuals. And if you get in my way, I'll take you down. I'm not scared of you, right? Because guess what I've got? I've got the Lord. And I can pray. And I pray now. In the name and in the blood of Jesus. That any plan, scheme or plot, any witchcraft, demonic entities or whatever else that you use and pander to, they will not succeed. And I turn them back on you. On you. Because I serve the Most High God. Just like Moses did. Just like Samuel. All my predecessors. When Moses came and rescued us from Egypt, there were many people who came against him, eh? Because they wanted to be more important, just like Moses. Now, and some of those people stayed behind in Egypt, yeah? Because they didn't like Moses. And if you don't like me, that's fine also. I don't mind. I don't mind. But I am tired of liars. And I'm here to warn you about these people. I'm going to name some people, right? You need to watch out for Gary Waterman, Dan Dyer, Nelson, and then anyone else that associates, a couple of people with the name Gary, right, who associate with Dan Dyer or Gary Waterman. These are all schemers, plotters, lawyers, pretenders. They want to pretend that they're coming to save you, but they're not really. They've all got an agenda, and that is to steal your identity and your inheritance. I promise you, this is a war between God and the devil's children and God's children. We've all been swapped around at birth. Okay? A Gentile is made in a pastry dish with a sperm and an egg, and still has a spark. Because the fallen angels can't have children. And they are called Goyim, because they're not a boy and they're not a girl. Okay? How do I know this? Because God told me. Gentiles are genital people. People made with genitals. Pastry dish children. Okay? All the fallen angels masquerade as people. They're all the ones on the world stage. Okay? And there's many people who are descendants of these guys. They reincarnate themselves. So the Gentiles are still open to salvation if they believe in Jesus. But we have a common enemy, and that's the children of the devil, right? Okay. But you've also got these different religions. Now I want to talk about this because it's quite important. I have found that Muslims don't seem to be targeted like Christians. Why? I don't know. But maybe my Bible is more relevant. I don't know. But I have found that the Muslims seem to know that the way this operates, right? Because when I've been to their houses, they've got little showers inside a bucket of water. And I tried that and it stopped the ringing in my ears. I was like, oh, it's strange. What's this about? Oh, the light switch doesn't work at their house. Wonder why. They don't get ringing. We mess with my light switch and mess with that and see if it stops it ringing. Oh, yes, it stops it ringing. How nice is that? This one's got a plant in the bath or in the sink. They haven't got any ringing. Let me try that at home. A plant? No ringing. Sleep really well. Ooh, wow. All Muslims. So they know something we don't know, eh? Okay. So basically what you have, I want to tell you that in the Bible, the children of Abraham are Isaac and Ishmael. Ishmael was born because Hagar, his slave girl, and him had a baby together. Because Abraham was 100 and his wife Sarah was 95. And when the angel of the Lord came and said, you will have a child, Sarah actually laughed. She didn't believe that they would have a child. So she convinced Abraham that he should sleep with Hagar, the slave girl from Egypt. And they had a child together, and he was called Ishmael. And then later, Sarah and Abraham had a child, and he was called Isaac. And Isaac became the father of Jacob and Esau. And Esau was the oldest child, but he sold his birthright, right, for a bowl of soup because he's hungry. And Jacob is the father of the 12 nations of Israel, not Israel, because it's about whether you're real or not, whether you're made with a pastry dish, genitals, or whether you're made out of God's Adam and Eve. It's all about atom and 12 nucleus. Okay, so we got the 12 tribes of Israel, and then did you know there's 12 tribes of Esau, and then there's 12 tribes of Ishmael, and they all pretend that they are the real children of God, and then they've betrayed the real children of God, but also then you've also got within the 12 tribes of Israel various groups who have betrayed their own tribes as well. And this has happened because everybody wanted a piece of the pie now. But we need to keep our eye on the pie to come. So take your eye off the pie now and look at the pie to come. The kingdom of God is upon you. And, when God shows me stuff, I'm like, I'll go and I wait around. I'm like, I'll see if that's true, because it sounds a bit crazy. And then, sure enough, it's always true. Now I'm going to have to rely on what God showed me. Also my dreams that I've had. I'm the one who claims the land for God's children. And I believe that. And I'm a leader of a nation. And nothing and no one can stop me from being that. Okay. And I'm here to try and find my brothers and sisters in Christ who are Christians, not Muslims. Okay. And it is about that. So I'm looking for people who believe in God, who are followers of Christ, have received their salvation, because it's about God's will and it's about executing a will and the inheritance of it. When you can't execute a will unless there's a death, and that's why Jesus had to die you. But he's resurrected and made alive inside us so that we can claim that inheritance. Because the Spirit of God lives inside us, right? So there's a divine plan for God to make sure that his children really do get the inheritance, but it's only children who want to partake in it. People who sell out for a bowl of stew like Esau, they won't get their inheritance. Alright. And yeah, who do I think I am? I'll tell you who I am. I'm a child of God. And I've lost everything, eh? I got no one, nothing. God is my best friend. And I'm trying to find my brothers and sisters. I don't want to live in a 15-minute city. I don't want to be enslaved. I don't want to breathe in nano. I don't want to have my house pumped with nano. I don't want home invaders. I don't want gang stalkers. I don't want to be terrorized. I don't want to be stalked. I don't want to be hacked. I don't want my data farmed. I don't want my mind read. I don't want my mind wiped at the memory wipe happy days clinic. Thank you. And I'd like to be able to use my own mind. Okay? And I don't want to have to bow down to any man. I want my freedom, and I want to be able to worship my God in my land that God has promised me. And that's what I'm going for. And if you want to come and join me, you're very welcome. And if you don't, that's fine as well. I'm okay with whatever you want to do. Okay? But if you come and pretend to be with me, and then you secretly go and round up all of my group members and family, then I will come for you. Okay? And that's that. Alright, it's Ayesha from God FM. If you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, TikTok, and Telegram. It's God FM News, God FM New, God FM Radio, God FM Group. And you can email me, admin@godfm.org.uk. And you can WhatsApp me, +44 777 35 77788. Watch out. There's quite a few people I've been working with, really trusting, and secretly they've been planning my demise. So I've had to cut them all out. Alright. Have a good day. And watch out. There's child eaters around. If you got little children, you got to watch out on the street in case they get snatched and put in a cooking pot. Alright? Because this is really happening. This is the world we live in. This is the hills of eyes. This is like Chainsaw Massacre land. We can't trust anyone. Have a good day. It's Ayesha from God FM. Take care.